Thank you everyone for joining. So today, I think the panel that we're going to talk about is automating your human defense with AI, right? And let me start with a quick question, right, for everyone. If a cyber attack happens today, right, what are the most likely compromised first? Is it like systems, firewall, and or servers, or your like devices that you use, or it's your people? Probably you will answer people, right? Because that's one of the weakest link. Because I think you cannot expect a finance guy or or I would say sales guy to understand the deep technical nitty-gritty of technology, right? They are good at their job, right? And that's why majorly the business team will compromise whenever this happens. It involves your accounting department and all of those things, right? So what attacker have been exploiting, they're exploiting humans, and that's the agenda for today, right? For the entire conference, that how we can defend humans, secure them, or train them, right? And today our topic is majorly automating human defense with AI, right? The reality is, again, the firewalls are getting smarter, systems are getting stronger, but the attacker have been shifted their focus to exploit human trust, urgency, and emotions, right? You are using AI-powered phishing, social engineering attacks, and it's like kind of build up a feel in a real, personal, and almost impossible to detect. And now, because of the trend of deepfake, right, you can just simulate a voice, you can simulate even the video, right? And that's why this is human behavior become a new attack surface, right? So, and this is exactly the today's panel sorry, is all about. Is like automating your human defense with AI. It's not only replacing people with machines, but it's also using AI to strengthen people. It's about continuously assessing human risk, building real-time awareness, and creating intelligent defense mechanism that evolve faster than attackers do. To explore this, we have exceptional panel of leaders who bring perspective from cyber intelligence to enterprise security leadership and governance-driven digital transformation. Let me introduce you to number one, Dr. Sergio, uh, a great guy with a humorous tone, right? He's a cybersecurity and intelligence expert who specializes in human risk side of cyber risk. He's a CISO for a healthcare company. He worked extensively at intersection of human behavior, AI, and modern threat tactics, right? He helps organizations to understand how attacker can manipulate humans and how AI can be used to counter those techniques, right? Our second speaker is Chris. Chris is the CISO for AppGen. I've met Chris on kind of multiple occasions, right? He have been a great guy on contributing to the society, especially when it's come to security, cybersecurity, right? He have been conducting the multiple session as a president of ISC2. Uh, so say hello again to Chris. Chris, again, a seasoned CISO and seasoned security leader who strongly believe that the security should act as a business enabler, not a bottleneck. With deep expertise in AI-driven security operations, zero trust architecture, and compliance automation, Chris has successfully scaled security program in high-growth environment by embedding intelligence directly into workflows. I've seen one of, like, I was going through your profile on LinkedIn, Chris. I think you also automated the security questionnaire, right, to kind of reduce the time to respond and all of those things, right? It's one of the vertical that people are a lot more going, and there are companies that have been built on that, right? Uh, then we have our third panelist, right? Dr. Sandeep Desai. Sandeep, and Dr. Sandeep Desai is a technology and governance expert with a strong focus on digital transformation and responsible AI adoption. He brings a balanced, human-centric view on how organization kind of automate defense while ensuring ethics, compliance, and trust, and remains kind of firmly in place. Dr. Desai helps bridge the gap between innovation and governance and making sure AI-driven defense is not just a powerful but also sustainable and accountable system, right? Uh, Dr. Desai has also he's a part of government, but he has. And while I was just curating speakers, I happened to talk to him, and the way he explained on how he managed human risk management is very different. So I thank you so much, uh, Mr. Desai, to kind of come to this panel and help us out and help our viewers to kind of get a sense of what it looked like and how you can kind of solve this humanist problem, right? So I'll move directly to the questions from individuals. Again, to panelists, please put your questions whenever you have in the chat. So in the end, when we have a time, I'll try to answer this. If we are not able to answer in the time, because if we are going more than the time, then what I'll do is I'll just send these questions to individual speakers and then over the email, and then I kind of get your answers. So feel free to ask questions. Yeah, Chris, you were saying something?
I said, sure. Yeah. Happy to.
Yeah. Great. Awesome. So let's start with Dr. Sergio, right? Dr. Sergio, so most organizations still look at human risk through individual like events like click, report, simulations, and all of those things, right?
Yeah.
And or a failure to simulation. But human behavior is not defined by one moment, right? It's not like that by one click you can define that this guy knows this or this guy does not know this, right? It is defined by pattern across time, attack type, pressure scenarios, and how important do you believe? And my question is more on how important do you believe it is AI to move human defense away from event-driven reporting towards longitudinal behavior profiling, and what would be the change in and how security team can actually prioritize what to send, what not to send. So basically, from events to a behavior-driven, and how you can kind of use AI in that sense.
Well, let me start with this. I am living right now in a moment where this new tool called AI is keeping me awake. And it's a love and hate relationship at this moment. Love because this tool is bringing amazing things. It's cutting times. It's automating things that before take hours to do. Now you can do it in 5 minutes. So it's great. It's leveling the playing for everybody. Today, thanks to AI, everybody can be a musician and you don't need to know music. You can be a poet and don't speak even the language that you are doing the writing. You can be anything you want. You have to know how to use it. But also with this tool, the threat actors are coming fully loaded. So let me tell you a little bit about me in the past. Prior to work here in this company, a healthcare company, I used to work for the Catholic Church here in the United States. I was in charge of basically the internet services with them for all United States. And in my life working in the technology industry, normally all my end users were people that use a computer or a smartphone. When I started working for the priesthood, priests and nuns, they didn't use any technology whatsoever to do their everyday job. The main tool was the face-to-face interaction with people. So that was great in some cases, but also put them in disadvantage with technology, and mostly with the people doing evil things. And the thing that I learned about that is all these threat actors, all these problems defending companies. Basically, companies spend thousands of dollars in cybersecurity, thousands, sometimes millions of dollars, and take one person to click the wrong link, and all that money can go to the garbage. So that is the thing that worries me. And because just what you said before, Pavan, we are the weakest link. And we are the main part of the process. The old movies or TV shows where a hacker was, 5 monitors and coding, and that basically is thing of the past. Today, the threat actors are going for the bunch of people that don't have any idea of technology. They are not aware of all the multiple ways now threat actors can interact with them using phishing, using what is smishing now, text messages, and that's a problem. So I think the main thing that is our responsibility, we, the tech guys, the IT guys, is to help those people that they are what I call allergic to technology, that they found technology complicated, confusing, horrible for them. But those are the people that are the main targets of these people, of these situations.
Right.
And a couple weeks ago, actually, probably like a week and a half ago, something that I thought was a joke came out. I think that by now, probably you hear about it. It's called Moltbook.
Yeah.
That is basically kind of like a Facebook, but for AI agents.
Agents.
And they found a bunch of information from the creators of the agents now basically publicly there. And the question is not about that. The question here is like, will be a moment that this, and this sounds like a science fiction, but will be a moment that these agents become sentient and start to, be able to hack you, scam you, do threat acting like humans. And now we here, the defenders of our companies from the digital point of view, are we going to now confront not only the human threat actors, but also the digital ones, and the digital ones using the humans or the humans using the digital ones? That is what I'm worried about it. And I think we need to do something about it. And big part also, now in a lot of companies, the CEO, the board, they want to have AI. They don't know why, but they want it because the neighbors are using it, the competitors are using it, Johnny Giggles is using it, everybody want to use it, and they want to be there. The problem is, are we prepared to integrate that to our companies? Do we have the correct steps, the correct processes? Are we sure that that information that we're giving to the AIs is only obtained in our system, is local, is on their security logs? Who has access to that? For how long? Etc. Are we ready for that? That is the question. And that comes for governance and compliance. And they are behind. So that is, I think, the step that we need to do. Put the rules in place, and then from there, figure it out what else to do.
Great. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing that face AI defense agent, right? And my next question to Chris, to you, right, regarding this only, right? And you have been CISO for a very long time, right? And you have seen those traditional tools doing the same training, the same attack vectors, the same kind of things, right? Which is like previously, because it was rule based, you have been doing simulations, then training, and it kind of become a habit. I would say it's not that effective, right? Which what we have seen so far at ThreatCop. What do you feel that these AI agents, which Dr. Sajid talk about, right? So there are multiple use cases of AI agent, right? How this AI can help you to change that landscape in terms of those repetitive tasks that is happening, and how you are using. Share some insights, practical things that you currently are doing at AppGen, or probably have like as a security professional has think of this is what can be done.
Yeah, I mean, I come at some of this from a slightly different perspective. And you think about AI in prompting. They talk about one-shot prompting versus refining your prompt. And something that scares me is if you had that equivalent, if you had the ability, if an attacker could do a one-shot prompt against a user, I'm in trouble. If they're doing refined hacking again, or in social engineering and coming at my employees from multiple directions, that's where patterns emerge. And this is where AI can start to detect those patterns. And we can see those signals come in and be able to use those. And so when you talk about this diverse training, being able to see multiple different options of what I would call like a one-shot attack are very, very helpful. And you look for who are your most vulnerable employees. And I don't necessarily agree that it is the employees who are not technical. It is the employees who have the access into environments that could be compromised. So you mentioned accounting. I spend a lot of extra time with the accounting department, and I walk over and I joke with them, hey, how many account numbers did you get requests to change today? And that joke, I mean, it is a form of training, right? It is a form of, oh, wait, I got to pay attention. This email just came in and it told me our biggest customer, they changed their bank account. So when we pay them, or I'm sorry, our vendor, not customer, our vendor. So when we have some outflowing cash, it's going to go to a new bank account. We want to vary that training in ways that makes people think. And they have to think about every communication that comes in. And I do think that's important. We have a new type of attack that I'm seeing more and more of that becomes very hard to control for a company. And that is, they're not coming in through company devices as much anymore. I see a series of like friendly communications coming through SMS, through even a Facebook. I see we recently had some new employees come into LinkedIn and all of a sudden start connecting to all our employees. And then later that same name could be used as a connection on an internal communication. And they might believe that it's an actual person. So thinking about where these new types of attacks are coming from, and then being able to vary that training and make adjustments, make people aware, because awareness is always going to be the most important thing you can do with your user base.
Correct.
And then make sure you have security in layers, defense in layers, so that it's not one click just takes your whole company out, right? Like I have protection on emails coming in to prevent that click from getting them. Then I disable that link. And then when you click on that link, it's got to go through another review process before it could even get to the web page. And then your credentials aren't going to work because you're forced to use MFA with everything, right? So you got 3 layers right there. We need to do all these pieces together holistically. No one of them is going to work by itself. But AI training and adaptive training is a piece of that puzzle.
Amazing. Great insight. I think I'll ask my CISO also to kind of do the joke with account seats so that kind of they also get aware. I think it's more like the more we make training as in fun, the more people kind of consume that content, right? Because any which ways we are consuming the content. Coming back to Sandeep, right? What he mentioned in terms of making it fun and then putting up a different kind of layers. One more thing that I've seen so far the people are doing and kind of evading it is deep fake simulations, right? So the simulations which are happening obviously are a vast variety of simulations right now. So you do email, right? And generally, like also Krish mentioned, there are 2 kind of the new ways of simulation. But I also see the typical sign email templates coming to the people, right? Yeah. The M365 reset password, right? So these are traditional ways. So I wanted to touch upon what do you feel? And then the new kind of attacks, right? A deep fake. Someone can join. Obviously, we know that everyone is real, but no one knows that if it is a deep fake or not, right? In this panel also. But the thing is that what do you see the future in terms of what kind of simulation and awareness training will be required for the employee? Will it be the same with a little bit creative or templates, or will be a very different scenario which has opened up because of the AI agent that we have so far across the globe?
Yeah, so I think we can definitely take advantage of AI and do personalized training pieces of it, right? Like, I mean, from education perspective, right? I'll give you just one example, Conmigo, right? So what does that do, right? You have students who take an assessment, and based on the results, it says, okay, this is where you're strong, this is where you're kind of average, and this is where you're weak. So let's concentrate on in creating a personalized lesson plan, right? So that you're concentrating more. Let's say if your weakness is in math, you will start working towards those math concepts and bring them up to that level, right? I think utilizing from the defensive side, right? We're already utilizing a lot of the tools that are provided by our vendors, right? So we have visibility that's coming in, not just one click, right? We're looking at certain events that get correlated into, okay, well, we had a click and a login, that's suspicious login and something, right? So some of that has been occurring already behind the scene. I think that needs to come out a little bit more in the forefront, in the hands of the responders, right? Like our security operations center analyst and those kinds of things, right? So, and then that same concept that we have for the education for the kids to their tutoring, I think we need to bring that to our employees, to our user base in that, right? A procurement person, me sending a something that might be more prevalent in Chris's environment in healthcare or something like that, what a nurse might be experiencing is it's not gonna resonate as well, right? So me sending a generic campaign that goes out to my entire user base and this is, hey, pay this invoice, my developer is not going to really care, right? So am I really, something needs to come. It's like, hey, we got this amazing new tool in GitHub that, come and check out this script, right? It will automate blah, blah, blah. That's more specific to even in the industry that they're in, right? So stimulating what makes them tick, right? We have users that are actually, our tool has picked it out as a suspicious email, has it put it into quarantine. We have had user taking it out of the quarantine because, oh, no, I was looking for them. We were doing this marketing campaign. It sounds exactly like, and what actually it was business email compromise from some other partner that was sort of coming through, right? So having that individualized training, I think something we can definitely utilize AI for, and can help to speed up, where if I can create 82 different scenarios and test it at the same time versus creating 4 or 5 different scenarios, which we're doing right now. I think that would be a great capability that we can, from technology side, definitely make use of. Yeah.
No, great. Thank you so much for those insights. I have a question from the audience, right? And we are limited on time, which Sergio has answered, right? I wanted to give you so he's asking, and which is a very relevant question. And I wanted to if you guys can, let's say in 10 seconds, if you can just give two steps from each one of you. The question is, how in general non-IT user can avoid an AI attack, right? Or any AI attack? Any good top 5 tips which user will not feel burden? So I think Sergio has very beautifully explained in the chat for the user, but for everyone, I really want, if you can just give a 10-second each and then give two tips for non-IT users, and which does not feel kind of burden, which the people can kind of utilize in their organization.
Also, we have shared the game in the meeting chat. All the attendees can, play the game of this session. Yeah. So sorry.
Thank you so much for jumping in, Daman. But great, awesome. So again, 2 tips for everyone. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll jump in real quick and say this, right? So personalizing things, I think that's going to be very important. What a CEO will resonate with versus what a procurement clerk will resonate with. I think it's very important to differentiate that, and having that personalized awareness training for them. I think, and then the other second piece of it is, all of these are great, but we need to have something that's measurable, repeatable, reportable, that we can actually give to our leadership and say, okay, yes, this is what we're doing. This is how we measured it. And this is why we think we should either continue or we should deviate to some other places.